You know, friends, sometimes being together with someone you love that you're now in a relationship can be a pretty good thing. But what happens if it turns out to be a real nightmare? As I recently experienced this in the body horror flick Together, which came out last summer and is now on physical media and streaming on Hulu. But is this recent hit film of horror as good as they say it is, that'll keep you glued to your seat, whether if you're together with somewhere or not? Or is this one just not worthy enough to get freaked out by the weird stuff that, well, will occur throughout this? Find out in this spoiler free review right now. Big T's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and this time around, I bring to you a spoiler free review of the 2025 supernatural body horror flick Together, released by Neon, written and directed by Michael Shanks in his feature length directorial debut, starring Dave Franco and Alison Brie as a couple who move to the countryside where they encounter a mysterious force. The film came out to the Sundance Festival last January and then was released in the US on July 30th of last year. It got good reviews and did pretty decent enough. Now then, let's get into a little bit of this story because I don't give too much of the story in spoiler free reviews, you know. But you probably know that already. Okay. Millie Wilson gets a job teaching elementary school English and moves to the countryside with her longtime boyfriend, aspiring musician Tim Brassington, who has been emotionally distant since the recent passing of his parents. Shortly before the move, Millie proposes to Tim at a going away party held by their friends, but he hesitates to respond, embarrassing her. While hiking near their new home, they fall into an underground cave during a rainstorm and decide to camp inside for the night. Tim drinks from a pool of water, but Millie refuses. Tim recalls traumatic details of the night he found his mother in bed with his father's decaying corpse. Upon waking up the next morning, Tim and Millie find their legs partially stuck together but dismiss the incident after separating. Well, Tim begins to experience episodes where he is inexplicably physically drawn to Millie, confusing and frustrating them both. He visits a doctor who dismisses his symptoms as panic attacks and prescribes him muscle relaxant pills before mentioning that a local couple, Simon and Carrie, recently went missing. Millie's co-worker Jamie McCabe shows up at their home to welcome them to the neighborhood, and she invites them to dinner. The couple recounts their experience at the cave, which Jamie explains was a New Age church before it caved in. So now you know what's going on. But now that's all the story I will give to you. Now, if you've seen the movie already, congratulations. But if you haven't, then you need to watch it. Now, for my thoughts on Together, I gotta say this was a real terror tale of a fright fest in a way. I have seen other body horror flicks, but this was probably the most freakiest I have ever seen in ages. I have to say, I like the atmosphere of the countryside. It's so amazing and what have you. And with the mysterious effects that goes on when both Millie and the Tim are together, it really turns out to be freaky as hell. I definitely could not agree more. Anyway, but even so, I did like the film. It proved to be pretty good. Upon its release, Together did pretty decent, going on to make 32 to 34 million at the box office. No budget was reported though. Its reviews were very good. Rotten Tomatoes has a score of 90%, where they say, given an extra sinew of authenticity by the metatextual casting of Brie and Franco at the top of their game. The film is a body horror that's as emotionally sticky as it is memorably gnarly. Metacritic has it a score 75. Unfortunately, audiences polled by CinemaScore gave us an average C+. Plus. The Globe and Mail's Barry Hertz gave it a good review, saying it is the most potent fusion of the pair's private and public lives any curious fan could possibly hope for. Oh, and it is exceptionally wildly disgusting. Brianna Ziegler of the AV Club gave it a B grade and wrote, "The profound depth of feeling generated by Brie and Franco in the midst of this genre film, one perhaps unattainable if they weren't also married in real life, gives together a real shot as the greatest romance of the year, even if it's also a film that happens to feature a motorized sawtooth blade slicing through mutated flesh. Well, you'll see that occur. But anyway, it takes more than gore to undermine the sensation of being so in love with someone that you want to get inside their skin. Amy Nicholson in LA Times wrote that nothing about the film screams comedy, yet that's precisely how it's put together. Yes. So anyway, now, there was actually a Chinese version of the film which was digitally altered to make a same sex couple a heterosexual one, but was negatively received by viewers in China, who criticized the change as being disrespectful to the LGBT community. Boy, be thankful we didn't see that here. But this is the real McCoy here. I must admit, Together proved to be a real shocking experience of a body horror flick. I absolutely liked it. Please stand by. Now, from other aspects I've seen of this film, I gotta say it was pretty well frightful and eerie and what have you in some parts. Like I said, when they get stuck together and what have you, it turns out to be strange. But nevertheless, Michael Shanks does a great job in his feature directorial debut. Now, even though he did direct three short films before this, but this is his first full length film. Full feature length, that is. But I have to admit, it proved to be pretty good. Cornel Wilczek, I hope I pronounced that right, did the film's score. And I must say, I really enjoyed it, what have you. It does have some pretty good. And that's an Australian composer. Given the fact that this, after it was released in the U.S., it was released in Australia a day later by Kismet Movies. Anyway, now, of course, according to him, he explained that the score is built around the couple's romance, while first stating, if you strip it all back, the main theme is basically a soppy love song that became the raw material I bent, stretched, distorted, and reshaped throughout the film, mirroring those physical transformations. You've got elements courting each other, circling, slowly converging. There's a playfulness, but also tension and release. The music evolves alongside them. Now, I couldn't agree more, but like I said, you're gonna see some real strange stuff they do, especially when they try to get themselves apart. I gotta say that was pretty darn awesome, but pretty bloody and what have you. But of the whole, I found Together to be a pretty entertaining body horror flick, and that's all I can tell you. I think the story was pretty good too. Now for the cast, we have Dave Franco playing Tim, and of course, his spouse Alison, or should I say his wife, Alison Brie, plays Millie. Yes, I must admit, she does pretty good as well. Yeah, I know sometimes some films with actual married couples might not be one of the best, but this I think I can make an exception. We have Damon Harriman as Jamie, and there's many other And there's plenty of others. Michael Shanks also makes an appearance in the film as a character named Simon. Now, one thing did kind of surprise me about this. Now, I will not spoil the ending for you. It's just one thing I was surprised to hear in the end, and it's one of music, because in the last bit before the movie was over with, when to like about that, well, I hear an old favorite of mine, and they the song was "To Become One" by the Spice Girls. That I did not expect that. I didn't see that coming. Seriously. Wow, that song kind of took me back too long ago. Mm-hmm. But enough said about that. Even so, I think Together is easily a great film. I actually liked it. One of the best horror movies of the year, as some say. Well, could it be one of my favorites? Well, yeah. But I still have yet to do the horror ranking, which I decided to go ahead and give you a quick announcement, because now this Friday on the 9th, I do, which is the day I have the best horror of 2025 lined up. Well, that's going to have to be postponed until I can get a new date, because it seems I just found out Peacock is getting Blumhouse's recent hit Black Phone 2 next weekend. So decided not to do a separate announcement vid, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this special announcement this vid real quickly. So the best horror films of 2025 ranking is going to be on hold, but I will find a new date for it. In the meantime, I'm going to be sending the Adventures of the American Rabbit review to that date instead. So I won't review it on its anniversary. So at this point, during the next week or so, after I review Black Phone 2, you'll probably get before or after one of the videos that I've got planned for the following week, okay? Details to follow when I'll be doing some others and what have you. But back to Together. It's a pretty good horror film. I think you'll really like it if you give it a shot. As I've said already, the film is currently available on physical media, on DVD, Blu ray, and it's also now on Hulu. It was the last film I watched in 2025, as a matter of fact. But anyway, it's a pretty spine tingling flick and what have you, but it's really good body horror. For my score, I'm giving Together 4.5 stars. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it. Oops, almost gave it an 8. That's why I get 4 stars. A 9. So, what did you think of Together? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big B Nation. Continue to help support my channel. You know the rest. And join me next time when I bring to you my long awaited and long overdue review of a guilty pleasure, An American Werewolf in Paris. So, if you like this, you may want to check out some of these other films with a little strange feel to them. I might as well give you the first two installments of Ty West's X franchise. Check out my review of X in the upper left hand corner and its prequel, Pearl, in the upper right hand corner. They're both spoiler free reviews. Or if you'd like another body horror flick, check out my review of David Cronenberg's The Fly from 1986 in the bottom left hand corner. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big B saying, see ya.